Greetings, friends. So I wanted to do a video giving a beginner's walkthrough through Linux Mint Cinnamon version 19.3 for those who care, just to show you what you might be encountering if you do decide to take the jump and install Linux. So what you see here is the default desktop, some minor tweaks, but pretty much this is what you get. And it should look familiar. It's not too dissimilar from what you might be used to in Windows. So a taskbar down here with a couple of icons. On the left here we have the most important thing is this menu button. It's kind of like the start button in Windows. It also has a few of the most common apps installed down here. We can walk through that in a little bit. And again, some icons here, for volume control. You can raise and lower the volume, and go into some other settings. You can see that I'm running OBS. Probably looks familiar to you guys. Bluetooth manager here. I can turn it on and off. I have it off because I'm not using it, etc. So let me just walk you through some common workflows. And that I figured that might be the best way to showcase the operating system. So we'll start off with the web browser. This is Firefox. It's probably what you're used to. I've got a bunch of tabs open. I need to clean this up. So let's say that I'm looking for a new wallpaper, right? Because I'm tired of what my desktop looks like. So we'll do a search for GNU wallpaper. And let's go to this website, on the GNU website. Let's see what they have. Not a lot to choose from here, but that's fine. Let's just go with this. It's good enough. So like with Windows, I think this is pretty similar. You can right-click on the image that you viewed it. There's other ways of doing this. You can save image as. It brings up the file browser on Linux. So it defaults to this downloads folder on my desktop. That's fine. We'll save it there. Okay. So it's in my downloads folder. Now let's say that it's an important file that I want to share with a friend. So I go to my Proton Mail. Let me log in. Oops. Okay. And it's a little slow. I got a bunch of stuff running, I think. Okay. So we compose email. Send it to myself. The file you requested. So there's an attachment button, and of course this is identical to what Proton Mail looks like on Windows. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It defaults to my downloads folder. I guess it's what I used last, so it's a little smart. Here's the GNU Linux wallpaper, right? The little preview. We open that, include as attachment. It uploads, and we hit send. And there it is, right? The file you requested. So that's how you download a file and then email a file. Okay, something else you might do is do a search on Wikipedia. So, open a new tab, go to Wikipedia. And let's say you're doing some basic research. You want to understand how that people get sick. So we can look up germ theory of disease. So it turns out that this is an important concept to look into if you want to understand the basic foundational principles of modern medicine. This is one of the keystones of it also. Good place to start. Another place is Antoine Béchamp. So I think all that looks pretty much the same as what you're used to seeing. Okay, so that's the file browser. Looks the same. I'm sorry, the web browser, Firefox, looks the same. Now let's say you want to go through your files. This is the file browser that comes by default with Linux Mint. I think it looks pretty much the same as what you see on Windows. Shows you the icons. The thing that is a little bit different about Linux is the layout of the file system. So in Windows you have C, program users, etc. This file system that I think we've all gotten comfortable and live with, but honestly I think it's a little clunky. I honestly do think this is better laid out and a little more sensibly. It'll seem weird when you first get on here, but the basic idea is that there's a folder that has your username. So my username in this computer is Luis. That's how I log on. So my home folder is called Luis, and within this home folder are all the files that I would use. Everything else is a system file. So this is an important folder. So this is where I have my documents, my music, all my pictures, videos. They all live here. So let's go to downloads, and this is where everything's get dumped right from Firefox by default. And there's a wallpaper, right? So I can click on that. It brings up the file viewer. And you can zoom in, you can zoom out, etc. So let's right click on that, set as wallpaper. It tells me that I can change some settings. I don't really care. It's the default is fine. And let's go take a look. And there's my new wallpaper. Pretty easy. Since I've got the file browser open, I'll show you a little bit more. This is how you go through images. So let me find my pictures, and let's go to the end. I've got my wallpapers, right? So this is probably where everything should go, and you can click on a file and see it. Oops. You can do full screen and kind of browse through the different wallpapers that I've collected. Let me see. I can also show you some pictures. Let me see what can I show you. Some pictures from our last trip. That's us on the plane. Let me see. Find something else. Pictures of me and the dog. It's pictures of me and my son and the dog when he was little. Gosh, he's 5 now. He doesn't look like that anymore. Okay, so the other thing you might be interested in doing is media, right? So there's a media player. So we'll actually start from the start, from the menu button. Sound and video, sound and video, and there's media player. You can see there's other things to choose from. Let's go to media player. Basic media player. It does pretty much what you would need it to do. So you can go to File, Open. It sensibly opens to, well, it went back to the last folder I had open, but it defaults to opening on music, which makes sense, right? So that's Home Luis Music. And you open the file. It's a little loud. So it starts playing. If there's an image to the MP3, it'll show it here. Here's a playlist. You can add more files to the playlist. So let's go over here and this is also a good song. And then you can view full screen, jump to the next track. This is the file that I just opened. So that's what that looks like. You can also use this to open video files. Let me see. I think I've got. Okay. And you can also use this to view video. So it's just an all-purpose media player. I think you can view CDs and do other stuff in it. Now the other thing you can also do is you can also start with a file browser again, and let's go to music and start from here. Oh, I don't want to. That's too many files here. Sure, why not? Let's do Bill Withers. So you can click on an MP3, and that also opens up the media player, right? So what you'd come to expect from Windows, right? So that's similar. That's the file browser. Okay, autonomy folks may be interested in Discord, right? And what that looks like, what that process looks like. So again, to the menu button, Internet, Discord. Let me open that up. It's opening in the wrong window. Let me bring it over. Oops. Where did it go? Oh. I think I killed it. Let me try that again. Internet, Discord. And bring it over. Okay. So there it is. kind of view the chat. Here's the autonomy. Let's look at some class announcements or class schedule, right? We can click on a link that opens up Firefox. That was already running. Takes us to the right page. We can also view, let me see if I can find class announcements. Okay, here's a Zoom meeting. You can click on that. Opens up, again, Firefox. It gives me the option to open up Zoom. Yes, please. Click OK. That opens up Zoom. Join with video. Hope this doesn't break anything. Okay. Well, there's no meeting going on, obviously, because I'm just doing this kind of late at night. Yes, leave the meeting and close that too. And I think it does the same thing in Windows, right? I don't like this default. It doesn't actually close, it minimizes. So let's actually kill this before something goes wrong with my recording. Okay, so I think the only other thing I want to show you and is how you might install new software. So it's under Administration, Software Manager. That opens up. Takes a moment. I think I got a lot of things going on here. Okay, there it is. And this is the program that you use to search, install, and remove software. There's other ways of installing programs, but honestly, if you're new to Linux, this is probably what you're going to be using. So there's a search bar here. You can also browse through categories, click on games, and then that'll bring you to all the games that you can look for, and even that's subcategories, which types of games. But let's say you want to install a video editor. So you can do a search for video editor, and it comes up with all the options that you have, right? So this is one that somebody recommended, Kdenlive. Then there's OpenShot. That's the one I've used before. So you can see you click on it, gives you some thumbnails and shows you what the application looks like before you install it. There's some reviews that's not too robust. You can see some of these are, well, about a year old or, several months old, and things change so quickly. I always take these with a grain of salt. But let's say I want to install PTV because I think it's light. I think it's supposed to be kind of small. It's 14 megabyte download. All right, so this is the program I want. It looks cool. The reviews are great. Let's hit install. So you press a button and it starts doing its thing in the background. It tells me that in order to install and run this program, I need to install these other dependencies. It's going to be a total of 13 megabytes to download. It's going to take up 46 megabytes on space. Sure, thank you. And that's one thing that's kind of nice about Linux, right? So it automatically noticed that in order to run this piece of software, I need to install these other pieces of software that go with it or that this program depends on. And it's going to install, download, and configure everything so I can just launch the program and take off. And, this kind of compares to how things are in Windows, where you go to the program website, you download that, and maybe there's something you need to tweak or a setting or an additional component to Windows that's required. It doesn't always work that way, and I think things have gotten better in Windows. But, I mean, this is about as easy as I can get. And by the way, I think this is how Unix has worked, I don't know, since before I was born. So, okay. And then it's installed. I can remove or launch, right? Because it's installed all from this program. So let's see what this looks like. I've never installed this program before. So it's telling me, okay, there's a new project. I really don't know how to use this, but okay. I guess I'll play with this later. And I might even clean up this video if I have a chance and use PTV. So that's it. I hope this has been informative to somebody. And, my goal here is to just encourage people to give it a try. It's not as intimidating as I think people imagine it to be. And there's a lot of things to explore. I mean, I didn't really go through the rest of the menu really quickly. You can see that it's organized by category. So there's accessories. And within accessories, there's text editors and the calculator, the sort of thing that you might expect or have come to expect, right? Internet applications, graphic applications, preferences. So this is how you change and configure the system, themes, how things lay out, how things work. So how you manage, network settings, right? That's important. That's something that we, I don't have, well, right now, this is a desktop, it's not a laptop. So, it's a wired connection, but this is where I would configure my Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that good stuff. Here's a Bluetooth, to configure it, I have it turned off again because I'm not using it for that. So anyway, hope that's helped. All right. Any questions, please reach out. I love talking about this stuff.